for a take on this. And can I say that sitting MPs are somewhat hamstrung by commenting on this on an existing hearing before the Privileges Committee? There are rules about that. Not that the Maori Party gives a toss about rules. But one person who is prepared to talk to us on this is former ACT MP and lawyer, Stephen Franks, who joins us by phone now. Stephen, thank you for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How serious a deal is it just saying you're not going to front to the Privileges Committee?
Well, it's extremely serious. It doesn't get more serious. In these situations in the past, people have been excluded from Parliament, sometimes for very long periods, sometimes for years. And TPM has been basically having a fight to see who's boss for some years, and Parliament has always wimped out. And if this one, I expect they'll do the same. They'll try and deal with this in some way that doesn't have a direct confrontation.
Well, they have hired Chris Finlayson to make all these legal arguments about how the system is corrupt and they've already been condemned or whatever. Does any of that hold water? And what standing does common law have inside the parliamentary process, which I presume is pretty well a law to itself?
I think it's just a very effective tactic to allow those who want to avoid having a showdown, to feel that somehow there's a way of Parliament looking as if it hasn't lost by dressing it all up in legalities. This sort of thing is common in parliaments. And when I say no, it's uncommon in parliaments, but it's not unprecedented. There's been years of exclusion of Sinn Féin and IRA members, provisional IRA, the Democratic Union Party in Ireland has been outside Parliament for some time. Essentially, it's a tussle with the people in the electorate. If they want to keep electing someone who's not there representing them where the decisions are being made, that ends up as the choice of the electorate.
Okay,
And
well, Judith Collins is the chair of the powerful Privileges Committee. I don't know why they always say that. She's not one for turning. She's a pretty tough cookie. What are the options available to her to get them before the committee?
Well, the option's really simple. It's Parliament. She will have to know that she embodies a resolution of Parliament. And if the Parliament as a whole doesn't have enough resolve to hold their course, it doesn't matter how staunch she is, it won't happen. On the other hand, if she does exercise leadership and says we've been pandering to these people for a long time, Parliament is where the rules are expressly made to elevate reason above threats, above status. Parliament's where ministers are humbled. They don't have anyone to help them. They have to answer questions. They can't just flounce out or refuse. Parliament's rules have been designed to avoid feelings, emotions, claims to status winning, and TPM has been flouting those for years. She's got an awkward task, but she's got unlimited power.
Now, what do you mean by that, unlimited power?
Parliament decides, it's as simple as a club deciding who it wants as members. It's unlimited in the sense that we would think it extraordinary to eject people because we disagreed with the way they were behaving, because they've been elected. But our Parliament's done that in the past. The British Parliament, the mother of all parliaments, has kept out an atheist for a long time. During the First World War, our Parliament ejected someone who refused to accept conscription. There's been the Maori seats were unoccupied for some time by Maori objecting to having to go along with the rules in the early years. So this isn't unprecedented. It's unlimited in the sense that Parliament can make up whatever it needs to do to show that its rules will be made to apply. The question is,
who drives that process?
Well, the Select Committee is where the Privileges Committee is where that will crystallise, but it'll be done by the leaders of the parties or the business managers for each party, the whips, talking and getting a feel for what will be the consensus. And so far, the consensus in Parliament has been to not confront the insolence of the Pāti Māori.
It's sedition. It's rebellion, isn't it?
Well, it's saying we're not going to play by the rules. And if you are willing to have a fight and the other side aren't, the person who says I'm not playing by the rules wins. And so far they've been winning.
Wow. What could she potentially do? Could she have these people arrested by the Sergeant-at-Arms and dragged before the committee, literally?
Yes, in theory. But the normal response is just to exclude them from their seats. And then there'd be a question of security not letting them in.
Into Parliament or into the chamber?
Into the chamber.
Okay,
But
would they still get paid? Would they still get all their staff?
Well, Parliament can decide all that. There's nothing to stop Parliament ending this tomorrow. It depends on whether there's a will.
And this is run by the Speaker or the committee, the Privileges Committee?
Well, it's run by the Privileges Committee is where it concentrates. You can't make complicated decisions in a house of 100 people. So it's delegated, but the delegates will go to that committee with a feel for what their party is willing to support, and there'll probably be a toing and froing on what's to happen on outcomes between party leaders and maybe even party caucuses. It's to get a sense of what Parliament will agree on.
Does a normal lawyer like Chris Finlayson actually have any standing before the committee?
Only if it lets them. I think they should just, I don't know, but I think if they were going to show that they were standing for the values that Parliament has to embody, they would treat that as a joke. They would say that this truculence should be dealt with by excluding them immediately.
I know that in private meetings the Maori Party have been incredibly defiant towards the Speaker, Jerry Brownlee, and that this has been brewing for some time. How important do you think it is, and how serious do you think this is?
Well, it's very important to the Maori Party. Their role, or they see their role as being to show who's boss, and to them, they make no secret of it. They believe that Maori are boss in New Zealand because they say it was theirs, and they want the power back. So by acceding to a whole series of small provocations, they've essentially been forced to keep going further and to become more and more truculent, because the purpose of this is not the particular issue, the ability to do belligerent hakas in the House. The purpose of this is to show who's in charge. And if the Speaker has been wimping, or looks as if he's been wimping, they have to go further until it's evident.